Welcome MegaWhale team to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at Ramp DeFi. Today is just a technical analysis video. We're just going to be taking a look at the chart, trying to get a little bit of a understanding of where the chart's going in the short term. But primarily today we're actually going to be focused a little bit more long term, where we think the price is going to go on the longer time frame. So stick around to the end of the video to find that out. So to start with, we're just going to explain the chart in front of us right now before we add anything. First and foremost, these red lines here that you notice, these are our long-term resistance lines. All right, these are our horizontal resistance lines that are suppressing the price or holding the price at certain levels. We'll explain them a little bit more in a little bit. This red zone here, this is going to be our resistance zone. So this is one of the critical zones we need to bust above or break above to continue the trend upwards. We can see we found a lot of resistance here in the past few months, 2 occasions, a lot of resistance, and we also saw a lot of support and resistance at these levels here. So a pretty good indication that this zone here is a challenging one to break, making sense that we're coming up in that 50-cent zone, that psychological resistance. So bringing it down, we do have a resistance at 33 cents, again 25 cents, and then we have our local support at about 19 cents. So to zoom out, this black line here is our long-term support line. This is what's holding the price up. If we do crash below this line, we're in a lot of danger, we're in a lot of trouble, but we're not expecting that to happen just of yet. And again, our long-term resistance line, if we do break above this line, we can assume that the price will continue upwards. All right, so let's break it down. Where do we see the price going? Well, there's 2 options. We're going to take a look at the bullish case scenario first, and then we'll take a look at the bearish. So the bullish scenario is very, very reliant on how Bitcoin performs in the next few weeks. If we see Bitcoin push past $54,000, we will most likely see Ramp take an initial move from here at the bottom, up past our 25-cent resistance and our 200-day moving average zone. This will be a very bullish sign for Ramp and can indicate a further continuation of the trend. So from this point, we will expect a retest. And finally, since we're coming to the end of our consolidation period, we'd expect a break. Now, although this zone here, this 33-cent zone has proven to be a very, very strong resistance or Ramp, we can see all the way here, very strong resistance, it's exacerbated by the fact that we're underneath this long-term trend line, this descending long-term trend line. If we're able to break above this trend line, similar to how we did here, we will notice that the price will continue upwards quite rapidly, and this resistance will not be too much of an issue to break. Since we've broken a stronger long-term resistance, the buying volume will increase and send us up. The zone we are more concerned about breaking would be this zone here. Alright, we've seen 2 tops, a double top at this level here, which pushes us downwards, and we saw 3 separate data points here suggesting that this zone is quite a challenging zone to break. So we would expect either a drop down from here to retest maybe 40 cents, and then a continuation upwards. If we do continue upwards past this zone, we don't have a lot of resistance. We have our 57 cent resistance, our 68 cents resistance, and besides that, our next 2 are 83 and $1 resistance are very, very small resistances. There is not a lot of data suggesting that these are strong resistances. We've only had, a few days at these zones before, so it's hard to tell for now, but we would assume that we can definitely break up past these levels and even continue, I would say, up to $1.50. So that is what I think will happen for Ramp if Bitcoin turns bullish again and we continue up past $54,000. I think we will break that long-term downwards resistance. I think we will smash past our smaller resistances and our resistance zone and head up and make a new all-time high. So let's take a look at what's going to happen if none of this happens and Bitcoin fails to break past the 54,000 resistance and actually enters a bear market, which is another possibility, and we have discussed about this. If you're confused about Bitcoin or you're not too sure what's happening, take a look at our first video. We explained everything that's happening on Bitcoin right now and everything that needs to happen for us to turn bullish again, and what will happen if we turn bearish. So if I'm saying a few things here that you're not quite catching on about Bitcoin, take a look at that video first, then come back and watch this and you'll understand why we're saying we need to break past 54,000 or ECT. All right, so let's take a look at the bearish scenario. The bearish scenario is we break down past this long-term support. Keep in mind, we do have two supports here. We have our horizontal 19% support, which we have found support on multiple occasions. All right, and even resistance over here. All right, so this is indication of a strong support line over here. All right, we have nearly 2 months of support, and yeah, 2 months of, we have nearly 4 months of support and resistance at this level in total on the chart. So this is probably the strongest support and resistance zone on the entire chart. So that means if we break below it, it is going to be a very, very difficult resistance to then break back above. So we want to make sure we remain above this resistance so we don't drop down too low into this demand zone. If we have a flash crash on Bitcoin, we will definitely drop into the demand zone for a short period of time, but we're hoping to come back up very quickly and not too long, because we don't want this support to turn into a full-blown resistance and have too many sell orders stacking up. So what we would assume would happen if we drop below this line, we would see a little drop, a retest of our support, and a full rejection. We would expect us to come down to the bottom of the demand zone. From here, we will need to find a new bottom. So a new bottom, from looking at the chart, we would have to look at, and we would assume would be around 7 cents. So seeing something like this and then having a nice divergence and continue upwards, forming a new uptrend would definitely be possible. All right, guys, so that's enough about the charts. Let's take a look at the technicals. Now, again, Ramp is quite a new coin. We don't have a lot of data. We only have a little bit over, I think maybe 13 months of chart data. So we haven't seen a lot of price movement in that time. If we zoom out and think about the big picture, you know, coins like, you know, EOS that's been around for 5-6 years, we have a lot more data to play with when making these predictions. All right, so if Ramp, it's going to be a little bit more loose. All right, let's delete all this and we'll zoom out and we'll take a look at some indicators. All right, so the first indicator we're going to be taking a look at is the market cipher B. I have been using this one a lot lately. It is a lagging indicator, but generally the price movements after we find green dots, especially on the larger time frames, are quite significant, that even if it's lagging and you get it in the chart one day late, there is still a lot of profits to be made. And it's always better to trade and be safe and sure of the price direction rather than taking a gamble and potentially losing money. The most important thing when trading is to make sure that you lose as little money as possible when you're wrong and make as most money as possible when you're correct. So let's take a look. So we saw a green dot print and a green dot print here. Now the green dots printing us signs that the price is going to continue in an uptrend. All right, we did have an uptrend, a nice uptrend up until the 13th of December, which indicated a drop in the trend. All right, we had our red dot print on the 13th of September. What happened next? Huge crash. This continued down until we found our next two green dots, which is around early to mid-November. And we did continue upwards a little bit until recently, where we did print another red dot. All right, so we're back in a downtrend. So what we're waiting for now on the 3-day chart is we're waiting for a green dot to print, and that's going to signify a potential reversal. Obviously, there is more factors involved, but we're looking for a green dot, and that's going to be that first little glimpse of a potential trend reversal. So let's break it down to a 1-day chart. All right, so we can see on the 1-day chart, we have the market cipher B up. We're seeing that we're converging downwards, and we're actually slowly and steadily starting to direct ourselves inwards. We see here, we're starting to direct inwards. This is a really good sign, and it's a good indicator that we actually might see a green dot print in the next few days, guys. So again, there's a lot of stuff here indicating that we're very close to the bottom. All right, so what we're doing now is we're trying to decide, essentially for Bitcoin and for a lot of these altcoins, was this candle here, this small wick down that didn't quite touch the trend line, was this the bottom, or are we going to come down and retest this one last time before heading up? So that's what we're trying to figure out now before we enter the market. We're trying to decide, has the bottom been touched already, or are we going to continue a little bit lower, retest it and bounce, or retest it and drop? So we're not entering right now, we're playing safe and conservative, we're just going to wait. Just going to wait and be patient. So the cipher B is indicating a potential reversal is incoming, which is great to see. Let's take a look at another indicator. Alright guys, we're going to take a look at one more indicator, the RSI. Now I would say the RSI is probably one of the most important indicators you can take a look at to determine price direction. So as we can see, the 38.49 zone on the RSI indicated our local bottom on the 15th of July, and we're seeing the prices converging and rapidly downwards towards this zone. If we can bounce here and get a double bottom, it would be perfect. It'd be a really bullish sign for us to continue upwards. We can also see, if we zoom in full scale here, we do have some sort of resistance, all right, from the RSI here. All right, so we can see that we had this downtrend here on the RSI, that if we do break above, we're going to go absolutely parabolic, and ramp is going to shoot up and will definitely hit that $1 range gain and hopefully push past and hit that $1.60 target we have. All right, so the RSI is a really important one. Again, this blue line here and this blue line here are the most important things we're looking at right now for ramp. We need to make sure we bounce at these levels and print a green candle and continue upwards. All right, guys, if you have any questions, make sure to drop them below. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more awesome technical analysis. We're aiming to be the biggest technical analysis channel on YouTube. Again, I don't know how much information to put into these videos for you guys. I need your feedback. I don't know if I want to put more information or I need to pull back a little bit. I don't want to make them too complicated. I want to make sure everyone from all skill levels is able to understand what we're talking about in these videos. There's a heap of information I can cover, so sometimes it's a little bit hard to pick and choose which information I would like to go over. But you know, that's when your feedback comes involved and it helps me make these videos better for you guys. All right, and finally, make sure to follow us on Twitter. The link is in the description. Also, to join our Telegram chat, the link is also in the description. And I'll see you in the next video, guys.